Welcome back. The world is reacting to the United States dropping 14 bunker buster bombs on 3 of Iran's nuclear sites on Saturday night. It was the biggest B-2 raid ever on Saturday. President Trump said Operation Midnight Hammer was a spectacular military success. But now major U.S. cities are on high alert as Iran is vowing retaliation. The Israeli Defense Forces right now are striking regime forces with unprecedented force in Iran. I spoke with the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, yesterday on Sunday Morning Futures. Are we now at war with Iran?
No, we're not. This is not a war against Iran. The president told them, if we don't get a deal, which is what he wanted, then I'll have to handle it differently. And that's what he did last night. He handled it differently. But that was an Iranian choice. We didn't make that choice. They did.
Are you expecting retaliation?
It'll be the worst mistake they've ever made. We're not looking for war in Iran. But if they attack us, then I think we have capabilities they haven't even seen yet. It would be a terrible mistake on their part. And frankly, it's not what we hope for or wish. What we want now is to ensure that Iran never has nuclear weapons. If what they want is a civil nuclear program where they have power plants like a lot of other countries in the world have, they can do that. That's the deal that's been offered to them. They rejected it.
Joining me now is North Carolina Congressman Greg Murphy. Congressman, what is your reaction to all of this? Good morning to you.
Yeah, so Maria, when the news broke out, it was just more of a relief. It was just a matter of time. This has been boiling up for years, back since the failed days of, Obama and Kerry and Biden and Blinken. This has been boiling up for many, many years. And as Rubio said, Trump offered them a deal. He offered them a way out, and they refused. And so, look, the world does not need a nuclear Iran because it would have no problem giving it to its proxies. And those of my colleagues who are against this have no clue, have no damn clue, because what do they want? A dirty bomb in Manhattan or anywhere else in this country? You had to cut the head off of the snake, and you had to stop their ability to make a nuclear bomb.
Well, I mean, it's amazing to me that there was a risk of your colleagues on the left, Democrats, leaking such important information. Sure. I mean, that's what I have been hearing from some of others on Capitol Hill. And the Democrats are calling for impeachment of President Trump right now, saying that he launched these 3 strikes on Iran without their approval. Here's Texas Congressman Ronnie Jackson with me yesterday. Watch this.
We do not have trustworthy people in Congress, especially on the left side of the aisle. If you tell Crockett and Tlaib and Omar and Presley and even Thomas Massie and people in our party like this at this particular point, you might as well put the Ayatollah on the phone as well. We cannot afford to do that. Our operational security is reliant on the secrecy that surrounds it, and that's what happened. And the president had no obligation to inform Congress beforehand anyways, and I'm glad he did not.
So you believe had the president told certain congressional members, your colleagues on the left, like Thomas Massie, like AOC, like Iman, like you just mentioned the names, they could have leaked it?
I believe absolutely that they thrive on the media attention that they get from these issues, from sacrificing their credibility on these 90-10 issues. I think they would have talked about it. They would have talked about it online. They wouldn't have been, just directly informed our enemies, obviously, but they would have talked about it. There would have been leaks that would have come back to put our U.S. troops and those pilots and everyone surrounding them from a logistical standpoint in great risk.
And, Congressman, I should point out that, Thomas Massie is actually a Republican. So, he's not even, but people are worried about whether or not this important information could have been leaked.
Yeah, Maria, I'm not sure what's going on with Thomas. He votes no against everything. He says we threatened to do this in the minority. I don't think he'd care. He votes no against everything. I'm not sure why he's even here anymore. Look, we have a sacred duty. The president has a sacred duty to defend the citizens of the United States. Iran has killed hundreds of our own citizens over the last several years through its proxies. And so, they were going to create a nuclear bomb which would make the Middle East unstable. The president did the right thing. And, the people who are fighting against it either still live in a flat earth policy or they just don't care about this country.
Well, those pictures that we're looking at from the Situation Room while the operation was underway are just incredible to take us into the room like that. But look, let me get to the economic issues of the day for a moment, because, Congressman, you've got, fewer than 2 weeks, about 2 weeks away from the big, beautiful bill, self-imposed July 4th deadline. Yeah. President Trump writes on Truth Social, great unity in the Republican Party, perhaps unity like we've never seen before. Now let's get the great, big, beautiful bill done. Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson, however, told me that the impact that these Iran strikes have had on him is just getting him to dig in further, because he says, look, you know, we can't bankrupt the country. Watch this.
No, if anything, it just strengthens my resolve. I mean, how do we expect to defend this nation if we're mortgaging its future, if we're bankrupting it? Again, I appreciate what the House has done. I really don't have a beef with what they've done. It's just inadequate to the enormity of the problems.
Do you expect the president's agenda to cross the finish line this summer? Will the bill pass?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, listen, it's been in the Senate's court a couple of weeks. You know, the parliamentarians are already chipping away at what spending cuts the House, you know, were able to pass. We have to focus on spending. This bill doesn't focus enough on reducing spending.
Okay, so, Congressman, you have heard what Ron Johnson has been saying about debt and deficits, but you heard there at the end of the day, he said, yes, it will pass. What do you think? Because you can't afford more than 3 no votes.
Well, you're right. And, you know, is it going to happen by our self-imposed deadline? There seems to be a bigger difference in the Senate and the House than what was anticipated to be. They're taking away Medicaid expansion in some states, which I'm not going to do for North Carolina. Those are our farmers, our fishermen, our clergy. They didn't put any SALT in there. They took out the endowment tax. They did multiple other things that the House had worked on. I believe in good faith with a lot of our senators. You know, I don't know that Ron and Rand Paul are even going to vote for the thing regardless. So, you know, again, we have to have people who are willing to step out, be futuristic as far as where we go with our policy. Our debt is crushing us, absolutely. But to pin this against the actions in Iran are not only wrong, they're irresponsible. They're 2 different things. We had national security and we have the future viability of our country.
Well, I mean, you'll have another opportunity at another reconciliation package at the end of the year, right? I mean, before the next Congress, before the next session?
We will, but we'll get this one done. But I think the self-imposed deadline was a little bit stark. It was great to do. Look, the House met its deadline, and that's hats off to Mike Johnson who did that. But are we able to get the whole thing done by July 4th? I don't know. We have to get the debt ceiling dealt with for sure.
Right. Well, what I was saying was, if you want to put more spending cuts in, you can do that later. Yeah. I mean,
absolutely.
I know that, you know, talking about huge numbers when it comes to debt and deficits, but in order to get the president's agenda passed, you can do that, raise the debt ceiling if you have the support. Do you have the support in the House? Do you have, you know, when the Senate revisions come back and you see that SALT is at 10,000, not 40,000, are you going to lose people like Mike Lawler?
Well, he's made it clear, you know, we had 10,000. After Ways and Means, we actually increased it to 30,000, but it wasn't enough from them. You know, they need to come back to the table. They need to come back and negotiate again. We need to get this done.
All right, Congressman, we'll be watching. Thanks very much. Greg Murphy on Capitol Hill. We'll be right back.